Hello guys and gals, it's Soulfax here and welcome to another War Thunder video. Just in case you didn't catch the warning at the beginning of this video, I will vocalize it for all of you who failed to pause the video and read it. Warning: watching this video might cause mild permanent brain damage and in extreme cases might cause late-stage rectal cancer. Viewer discretion is advised. All the stunts in this video were performed by professionals in a safe environment. Please do not try this at home. So now that you have it, do you agree to watch this video? Are you a consenting adult? Last chance, turn back. Okay, you asked for this. So in this video I'm featuring a person who I've already featured in one of my videos. His name is Kazumi and I'm going to be referring to him as Mr. Kazumi for the rest of this video. The last time I featured Mr. Kazumi in a video was in a realistic battle match a couple of weeks ago, and he was driving in his T-34-100 on the Advanced Terrain map, and there was nothing inherently wrong with that video or even hazardous to your health. So what makes this video so hazardous to your health and sanity that I needed to put two different warnings in this video just in case some people missed the first warning? The simple and short answer is Mr. Kazumi is driving in the Cancer, that is a T-34-100, a tier 4 premium Russian tank that is 6.3 battle rating. The T-34-100 combines the best of Soviet technology in one single vehicle. It has the rage-inducing RNG generator, there is the armor of a standard T-34-85, and has a cannon that is present on all of the T-54s, one whole battle rating lower than any of the T-54s. And despite having a larger cannon, a larger turret, and only carrying 10 less shells than a T-34-85, the T-34-100 is only 1 ton heavier than a T-34-85. The only downgrade the T-34-100 suffered when transitioning from the 85 to the 100mm cannon is the 2 degrees of lost depression, but depression was already shit, so it really doesn't matter on this tank. And in retrospect, you're driving the T-34-100. The way this vehicle performs at 6.3 and even at 7.3 battle rating, there's absolutely nothing to be depressed about, let alone the lack of gun depression on this vehicle. If you haven't figured it out just yet, the reason why I'm claiming this vehicle is more hazardous to your health than going to a vacation in Chernobyl is not because it's a bad vehicle, it's because it's borderline overpowered and borderline pay to win, it being a premium vehicle of course. It's basically a T-54 Mini at 1 less battle rating. It's got the same cannon, it's got roughly the same mobility, and it's got, well, it doesn't have the same armor, but it's still a T-34 armor, which means it's gonna bounce shots like it's nobody's business. And everybody who's driving this vehicle feel bad and think to yourself, am I a douchebag? And if you think that you're not a douchebag, then think again. I might have over-exaggerated that a little bit. I don't think all people who are driving a T-34-100 are douchebags. I just think that you're just a little bit bad people on the inside. And I don't think that Mr. Kazumi is a bad person because he's already sent me a couple of replays and he's generally a good guy. But I think that somewhere deep inside, Mr. Kazumi just likes to see people suffer just a little bit. But don't we all, deep inside, like to see people suffer, and that's why we buy vehicles like this? But anyhow, Mr. Kazumi is driving his T-34-100 on the White Rock Fortress map in a realistic battle match, and he decided to flank around the whole freaking map right off the bat. Like literally, he saw where the spawn point is of the enemy and where the cap point is, the only cap point. He decided to go around the whole map despite having the cannon that can penetrate easily anything frontally that the Germans can field at this battle rating. But naturally, that is the best course of action, because even though you have a cannon that can easily penetrate anything frontally, you just don't want to get shot, period, in any vehicle, even if you have the armor to easily bounce shots from the enemy, like in, let's say, the KV-1B at 4.3 battle rating. And because Mr. Kazumi decided to flank around the whole entire map, I'm going to be skipping forwards in this replay just a little bit, because he was just like driving for 5 minutes. But anyhow, if you look at the minimap, you will see firstly that Mr. Kazumi has almost reached the enemy cap point. Not the enemy cap point, the enemy spawn point, and that the cap point is being captured by the allies. And you might think that this match is very close to over because there is a large concentration of allied maps on the minimap, but most of those are actually AI vehicles, and there's only a few allied vehicles around the A cap point. And the scores in this match, when you look at the vehicles that are still alive and the vehicles that the players can spawn, are quite equal. But anyhow, Mr. Kazumi is going to be running into his first enemy of the match here, and it's a Jagdpanther with its ass turned that probably just spawned. How very unfortunate, because swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty. First shot, first kill. He detonates the... I almost said oil again. He detonates the fuel of that Jagdpanther, but in reality, if he didn't kill it with the first shot, he would have most likely, well, not most likely, 100% sure killed him with a second shot, because this is the 100mm cannon that is present on the T-54s. This cannon is so good that it can both penetrate everything frontally and that it can easily kill everything with one shot, as you will see in a second when he finally manages to get around the very poor gun depression of only 3 degrees on this cannon. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this is spawn camping, and if you ask me, if you flank around the whole entire map for 5 minutes and not run into a single tank and then proceed to quote-unquote spawn camp the enemy, this is a completely justifiable tactic because there shouldn't be tanks at this point in time at the spawn point. And second victim, a Tiger 2H, one shot in the back of the turret, instant kill. Although he did lose some crew members before that shot, but still that probably would have killed him either way. So second kill in the match, after 5 minutes in the match. This match didn't start all that explosively, but it's gonna ramp up very quickly, just believe me. So in the length of time that it took Mr. Kazumi to kill those 2 vehicles, the enemy forces have managed to recapture the A point, and he's going to try to fight through the spawn point and go attack the A point alongside this alongside this SU-100 as he just completely annihilates that poor Jagdpanther. That was just so brutal. That Jagdpanther was actually angling his armor backwards, and he still managed to punch through that armor like it's nothing. But anyhow, because this is another flanking session, I'm going to be skipping forwards just a little bit to the point where Mr. Kazumi, accompanied by this SU-100, finally reached the A cap point. Now, in the length of time it took them to reach the A cap point, the friendly team managed to uncap the A point, but there's still quite a few tanks here that need to be dealt with. And the first tank Mr. Kazumi notices is a Panzer IV-7T. Now, I don't know if this Panzer IV-7T tried to run away, but it was too little too late because he got shot in the backside and imploded by this 100mm cannon ammo. Now there's another tank in the cap point that is completely oblivious to his surrounding because he didn't even flinch when that Panzer IV-17 got killed, and that is that Tiger 2, who is still looking forwards and not even trying to look around himself and allowing Mr. Kazumi to get to his side and put one shot into his side armor and let himself his 5th kill. Now with those 2 tanks gone, the amount of friendly tanks that is around the cap point is 4 and the amount of enemy tanks that is around the cap point is 0. Yay, learning basic math with Soulfax. Come on, kids. Anyhow, now that the A point is firmly in the Allied control, Mr. Kazumi can go somewhere where he is more needed, and that is deeper in the White Rock Fortress, because there's still a few enemy tanks lurking around there, but that is when disaster strikes, and he loses this amazing vehicle that is a T-34-100. So he slowly makes his way towards the inner part of the White Rock Fortress when he notices that he looks back and there is a tank that passed behind him. So he turns around and tries to go after this tank, knowing that there is a Kugelblitz that is lurking around the corner that wants nothing more than to get sides of T-34-100s and punish them for being such big douchebags. And I'm exaggerating a bit again. He's not a bad person for driving the T-34-100. Nobody is a bad person for driving that tank. It's just a tank. But let me just put it this way. Decent, law-abiding, faithful citizens do not drive T-34-100. So take out of that any conclusion you want to take. But moving on, after dying in his T-34-100, Mr. Kazumi spawns in another premium tank, displaying how much money he's got to spend on this game, and I'm completely not jealous in any way, or a little bit, just not jealous at all. But anyhow, he spawned in a T-34-122, which is a T-44 equipped with the 122mm cannon that is present on the ISs and on the ISU-122. Generally, this is not considered to be a very good tier 4 vehicle because the fact that the 122mm cannon has a very slow reload, that the mobility of this tank isn't that good as of the T-44, and lastly, there is the driver support on the front plate of this vehicle is 80mm of unangled armor, and it's a very easy penetration and it's quite large. But since he spawned at the correct spawn point, decided to not to go flanking around this time, he gets straight into the action and catches what appears to be a Panzer IV-F2 to the side, which is a very strange vehicle to see in this battle rating match battle rating 6.7 battle rating match. But anyhow, if you look at the minimap and if you look at the screen in general, you will see that the enemy managed to recapture the A point. And if we look at the minimap, you will see that around the friendly cap point, there's only one more friendly vehicle, which means that at this point in time, there's only maybe 2 friendly vehicles alive against half a dozen enemy vehicles that are still in this game. So this is far from a game over for Mr. Kazumi. So after taking care of that Panzer IV, which could actually penetrate Mr. Kazumi from the front, he managed to get unhindered by any other tanks into the A cap point. But before he does actually get in the A cap point, he notices what appears to be a Jagdpanzer IV to the side, which is again another weird vehicle to see in this match, but it's late in the match and people are just spawning whatever they can spawn. So finally he is in the A cap point, there's no backup on the way, I think. And the only thing he can do now is try to capture it and hold it. And now something interesting and kind of hilarious is going to happen. In a moment or two here, a Dicker Max is going to appear. Unintentional rhymes are the best kind of rhymes. So in a moment here, oh right there, a Dicker Max pokes his head around the corner and gets shot. And unfortunately, even though this is a 122mm shell, it doesn't do much, it only kills one of his crew members. But now something hilarious is going to happen. So they're kind of in a stalemate. Both of those tanks, both of them know that the first one who peeks around the corner and the first one who actually gets a shot in is probably going to be the one who's going to be coming out of this confrontation, whatever you want to call it, this small localized battle, as the winner. So basically the first one who puts a shell in the other one is going to win. And both of them are going to be doing exactly this for the next couple of minutes. Yep, that's all there is. The Dicker Max is gonna stand over there. Mr. Kazumi is gonna be in this corner, checking around himself periodically to see if anybody's going to try and flank him. And they're both going to be standing around like here, waiting for the other one to peek their head around the corner and get shot. That is how this match is going to end. This Dicker Max had every opportunity to try at least do something to prolong this match, or maybe try to attack Mr. Kazumi and stop him from capping this point, or stop him from winning this match for a few seconds so that backup can arrive, but he does nothing. And the staring match continues. Now in a second there's going to be another vehicle that's going to come here, and unfortunately for Mr. Kazumi the match has already kind of ended and he doesn't get credit for his kill, so he ends the match at 8 kills. And that's how this video is drawing to a close. Thank you Mr. Kazumi for sending me this replay, I really appreciate it. It's been a fun match to watch, and I need to apologize to anybody who I have might insulted with some of the things that I've said about T-34-100 drivers. I didn't mean it, it's just for quote-unquote comedic effect. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. My name has been Soulfax, and I will see you next time.